The people of Newness of Life are suffering. This is a Holocaust. We, I, I realize now, were used as conduits, a sort of mirroring of people that mattered. So let's say that Robert, who I said I recorded Amish life against, I kept it because not only was it hilarious, but Robert, I believed, had copper poisoning. And you could tell his brown eyes had a very near, it looked like he was wearing contact lenses. And see, if Robert Hardy had what was diagnosed on paper as a mental illness, it gets overlooked. So his signs and symptoms are overlooked, just that he needs more of a dose of his medicine. And sometimes there's copper sulfide in those medicines. So they keep you chronically mentally ill. It's hard to believe that accusation. I'm bored and I'm trying to look, I don't know, iconic. Why not? And to keep somebody crazy on paper so that they're always a conduit. But on some days, us so-called conduits, we represent the world. Some days we represent our neighborhood. So say in your neighborhood you always had a friend or maybe a hater, and you were their conduit so that the parent could go into this area, Newness of Life, and keep an eye on their daughter, for example, and say, my daughter's smoking, and they do surveillance via this place. And so police have been trying to use me as their conduit to keep an eye on things in here. But what do I want to do? I want to get up and out too. I want to get out of here too. I don't want to be here. And so I'm hindered in that. I mean, this has caused me to be funny in the order of like Robin Williams. Similarly to Robin Williams, kind of funny. When I'm going to that like a pressure cooker point, I get to a certain point and it's I forget what they used to describe Robin Williams's humor. I think it was called frantic humor or something, and people would think, what is he on cocaine or something? And maybe he was, but I'm not. Who knows what I'm on? But I heard the other day a woman in a crowd say, how much for big dope? And that was one of my recordings. I was sort of making fun of a girl who was constantly bugging people for rides and money and smokes and this and that. And when she finally got that money, she misused it and bought skunk weed with it. And I'm sitting right next to her, and she's proudly like, oh, I got my weed. And she's on her bed in the dark, touching it, I don't know, like happy that she has it. And all I could do was smell it. So I sort of sung, dope, say dope. And I just sung about big dope. And I was making fun of her. And every time I do stuff like that, I'm liable to get hit. I'm liable to get punched. These people are violent. They're violent in a pinch. You cannot catch them in time. It's like a dog that attacks, that you never saw that dog be a biter to begin with. So I think through the assistance of others in communication, I don't act alone. I'm a little bit more reckless than, say, other people are, and they've already indicated to me that they are sick of they're sick of having to clean up my messes. But if I'm some kind of agent based on my social security number's last 3 digits, 001, well, I certainly would never live this agent life. You know why? I don't like being paranoid. I don't like being afraid. I don't like having to watch my back. But every now and then it gets a little funny. And I just caught on to this other Rachel Depp, who she might be Catalonian. She might be that Catalan piggybacker of mine. And she's sitting right up in a conduit, passing conduit from conduit to conduit. How do you know that? Well, according to this awful movie called Fallen with John Goodman in it, nobody ever would think that would be even realistic, even one bit realistic. But they're doing it. They're doing it. If you can apprehend this woman, find out how she does it. Don't do it yourself. But how many innocent bodies are in jail, but a guilty spirit? But how many innocent people are in jail because that person was pirated? And how many cases are going to have to be retried just based on the pirating premise alone? Never mind placaters, pinning it on a conduit, for example, rather than the one that actually may have done it. So I got a lot of work I got to do.